Welcome, citizens of the United Empire of Earth, to the Citizen Inquisitor. I'm Citizen Dale, and I'll be your guide in an attempt to navigate Star Citizen and the UEE. In this series, we're looking at the history of Star Citizen in terms of the stretch goals set forth by Chris Roberts and Cloud Imperium Games. In parts 1 and 2, we reviewed the first 2.5 months worth of stretch goals from September 2012 into November the same year. A combination of donations from both Kickstarter and the RSI website contributed to the $4.5 million goal being achieved. To quickly summarize what we had earned up to this point in time, and I hope I've added this up correctly, 7 new ships, 2 new ship classes, 60 star systems for the Star Citizen Persistent Universe, 45 missions for Squadron 42, 2 new base types, and 1 new race. So let's now move on to 5 million. This goal was a significant one and started off with a bang by introducing some new boarding operations. If you remember back at the $3.5 million goal, CIG gave us information about how boarding operations would work. But this left a lot of questions regarding how, quote, realistic the boarding ops would be. It sounded a lot like a standard FPS, just in a spaceship. Well, by hitting $5 million, new enhanced boarding ops would be introduced. These include melee combat, heavy weapons, zero-gravity simulation, in case you don't have your gravity boots on, or if you're on a large ship and it lost its artificial gravity, HUD options for inside the helmet of your suit, and EVA combat, which is combat between players in space without a ship, which will include walking around on the hull of the ship with those magnetic boots. Also included in the $5 million was an increase in the amount of ship customization available, an app for tablets that allows you to check on a variety of information from your inventory to available missions, and an alien derelict base type. The Star Citizen Persistent Universe was upgraded to 70 star systems, and Squadron 42 would now have some celebrity voice actors and 50 total missions. The final tidbit rewarded for reaching this goal was a monthly town hall Q&A with the man himself, Chris Roberts. Well, it's said that Mr. Roberts' appearance on Wingman's hangar has more or less fulfilled this promise, and we're even getting 10 for the Chairman weekly now. So who can really complain? I'm sure I'm with most people when I say that this is not the feature I'm most concerned about getting implemented. We see plenty of Chris Roberts already, and I'd much rather know he was hard at work on creating Star Citizen as opposed to entertaining me. The $5.5 million stretch goal meant another great enhancement to Squadron 42. The CIG team will actually use professional motion capture for the cutscenes. If immersion in the story is what Chris Roberts wants, then this is a big step in that direction. A new playable ship class was also introduced, the Bengal Carrier. This is a 1,000-meter-long giant that can carry squadrons of fighters, bombers, and support ships. It's the most powerful ship of the UEE Navy and employs a crew of over 700. Anyone who pledged before that $5.5 million mark also received 1,000 in-game credits and an exclusive ship skin called the Record Breaker. $6 million unlocked the aforementioned Bengal Carrier for play in the Persistent Universe. It also guaranteed an orchestral music score for Star Citizen and Squadron 42, and those who donated before this goal was reached would receive the first Squadron 42 mission disc called Behind Enemy Lines for free. This is a 16-mission campaign in the mold of Wing Commander Secret Missions if you've ever played it. And last but not least, the number of star systems for the Star Citizen Persistent Universe jumped from an oh-so-modest 70 to a whopping 100. This was the last goal achieved in 2012 and was completed by November 19th. This didn't slow down the pledging though. The onslaught of cash continued. It wasn't until a few months later that the next stretch goal was formally posted. We've also finally reached the point where the features earned for each goal teeter off a bit. Rather than promising half a dozen features per goal reached, goals would typically add just a couple new features. To most, this is a good thing because it hopefully means less feature creep. For non-developers and non-gamers, feature creep is when a company continues to add new features to a product, even though the core of the product may not be as stable as it should be. Features are fun to develop, whereas bugs are not fun to fix. So sometimes a company can forget about quality of the core product and will instead focus on the quantity of features they can include. Well, that's it for now, citizens. In Part 4, we should be able to knock out millions of dollars in pledges. and will also observe Star Citizen do what no other game has done. Please subscribe so you don't miss the next installment. Citizen Dale out.